Hey y'all, Zelda here. I am coming to you with a 3 card reading. Pick a card, pick a pile, pick a skull reading for the week ahead. This past week has been a bit of a doozy. I am hoping, but not necessarily expecting, that this coming week is going to be more easeful. However, I am hoping that these messages will provide clarity, support, comfort. I don't know what the cards are yet, so I'm just hoping that they provide some inspiration or guidance for all of us as we navigate the challenging, rocky waters that we are all swimming in together. So the 3 different decks that I'm going to be using is the Soul Cards deck. It is images, no words. I'll show it to you. The Uncertain Oracle deck and the Numinous Tarot deck. So those are the 3. You'll get one of each of those cards. There are going to be 3 different piles. The first pile, this is the skull. Her name is Calyxa. She's carved by Leandro de Souza. She is a Lemurian quartz. And she is a sea wolf. She can take her human form, but she is a sea wolf, which I found out when I started working with her is an animal that actually lives on the coast of Canada who can swim in the water and hunt like an otter, which is cool. Okay, that's pile number 1. Pile number 2, this is Sukhmani. Sukhmani is a very clear Himalayan quartz carved by Subhash Meena. It's a really cute little face. Sukhmani is a bringer of peace and helps to root in and find peace where you are. The third, so if you resonate with Sukhmani, that's pile number 2. Pile number 3, this is Una. Una has a lot of inclusions, is carved by Vikas Meena, who is Subhash's nephew. You can see these different inclusions. And Una helps with focusing and harnessing the power of the mind, gathering those resources and being able to direct them effectively. So if Una resonates, that's pile number 3. So pile 1, 2, and 3. Before you run off to your pile, I'm going to take a minute and I just want to call in our guides and supports together. So take a moment, get yourself settled. I'm going to spray some of this Platinum Dragon. Find your breath, settle your body and mind. I call upon my own guides, ancestors, lineages, spirit teams, dragons especially, to come in and support this reading, and each and every individual getting what they need and being able to utilize their sacred powers of discernment to note which messages are meant for them and which ones are not. Please allow me to serve as a channel for whatever wisdom and messages are here to be shared from Spirit. Okay, pile number 1, it's your time. Just going to move these other ones out of the way. Pile number 3. Just make sure I don't lose track of everyone. Okay, so pile number 1, you chose Calyxa. So, Calyxa is, as I mentioned, a sea wolf. She can take her human form, almost like the image that I have of her is almost like a selkie who can kind of take off the seal skin and walk on land. That this is a very similar kind of process for Calyxa. She Because she navigates the shoreline in particular, she's very good at going from the depths into the land terrain and like navigating the kind of rocky coast of the Pacific Rim. And so I'm going to just show you the cards. The soul card is this one. Reflection is your uncertain oracle card. And the Four of Bells is your numinous tarot card. So one of the things that I am sensing is this need for containment and some space. Getting the reflection card, especially with Calyxa, I do see this kind of like the border here and the need to kind of like discern between the horizon line. I see a very similar image actually in there as here, and that there's this quality of things getting like blurred or muddled, and that there could be some kind of like stress that this is filtering through, particularly in the context and the atmosphere of politics and things like that over the past week. It would make sense that you would need a container. The Four of Bells in this deck is the Four of Swords in other deck. The swords are cognition and the element of air. The Four of Bells, I see it kind of ringing like little wind chimes, but there's like this overflowing kind of writing deck, and that there needs to be some sort of like this person's like taking a nap. And I really see this quality of like needing to rest, needing to create a container, some space so that you can filter through, so that you can have some space and time for reflection on whatever it is, whatever chaos, whatever turmoil is stirring up and around for you. The message that I'm really getting is give yourself time and space to settle. So I see this filtering through and allowing it to not like overflow out the top, but to actually like fill up your vessel, and that your vessel is going to be much more contained and integritous if you take things one step at a time and don't get yourself in over your head. So this is like if you are diving below the water, you don't want to go down deeper than the amount of air you have in your lungs to get back to the surface. This is an opportunity to come up for air, to let yourself be paced in a way that is actually effective, to give yourself a container and space and time to process and reintegrate and replenish your resources. The fours feel in so many ways like this container that can hold and allow like some barrier of protection. And that's really what I see with this Four of Bells, is this space for the mind to be kind of contemplative. With reflection, I'm also seeing not only that, but like some space without stimulation being really important, like a meditation practice, mindfulness. Maybe that's going for a walk, but actually I'm really feeling like if you have a sitting practice that you haven't done in a while, this is your encouragement to kind of get back to that a little bit, maybe even doing a guided meditation, and maybe incorporating something like that before you go to sleep. automatic writing or something like that to actually reflect on things. I am seeing this quality of not like blah, like vomiting onto someone else, like word vomiting or something, but really kind of having that be more of an internal process. There's nothing wrong with needing others. This could be, if it is with anyone else, I would think of someone like a therapist or a professional processor who could support you in this, but not to like lean too much on like a partner or a friend, or just on someone else in that way, but actually to find a like container that's really sound where they're not going to be kind of muddled, because I am feeling that kind of inward, like that's the kind of energy I'm feeling, is this kind of inward, more restful, more quiet time. And it might feel like a not place of a ton of action. Let's see if Calyxa has anything else to kind of share with us. I'm really aware of like my tongue and the like the taste of something like ashy almost. And it's interesting because like I'm just hearing like something like a bad taste on your, like something might have left a bad taste in your mouth, or you might have some interactions that like leave a bad taste on your tongue. And it feels really important to keep in mind um, the value of a palate cleanser in those moments to like really refresh and reset. There's also a giant bird that just flew by the window. So I'm also really getting that air of like something that kind of like holds your attention and allows you to look up. So that could also be like some quiet time in nature. Um, but some bad, like maybe a palate cleanser of an activity, right? That you do something, you feel really frustrated with it, and you actually take some time away. Maybe that's a mindfulness practice or sitting for a few minutes, focusing on the breath. Feels like with the element of air going on, that there could be like some focus on the breath, or going outside and feeling like the wind on your face. But giving yourself these palate cleansers, like if you have an argument with someone, letting it kind of clear away before responding and reacting. And this is going to help keep you a little more clear and a little bit more balanced, I think. Giving yourself space to reflect before reacting. Yeah, really feels like still feel that taste in my mouth. Um, It also feels like a little metallic-y. So it could also be like blood in the mouth type of experience, and really allowing yourself to like rinse that out, right? Don't allow something like, I'm imagining if there's like a cut in my mouth or something, I don't want to like let it fester. I want to like rinse that out and keep that clean. And so there is that quality of like palate cleanser, but also like cleansing something, and that there can't just be like adding something else. There needs to be a rinsing out. And so that's really what I'm getting, is like giving yourself time and space, rinsing things out, giving yourself a palate cleanser, also like an emotional palate cleanser. And honestly, like who among us couldn't use some of that? So this feels like good input, good feedback. I hope that on some level it resonates with you. Let me just check in and see if there's anything else that wants to be shared. I don't think so. I think that this is the message for you, Group 1. I hope that this has been supportive for you. I look forward to doing more readings with Calyxa in the future. She's a newer one of my skulls, and we've just been bonding. So tune back in if you'd like to see more. If you are interested in hearing more about tarot reading or getting some energy work. I do have an event going on tomorrow that is called Mother Medicine, where it's going to be an event for the new moon in Cancer. We're going to do Reiki. We're going to do a crystalline DNA activation. We're going to do a collective tarot reading. This was called Mother Medicine before the Roe v. Wade verdict. And so I am just feeling like the guides are calling for some healing around that event. And so if that's something that you're feeling called to, please, you can sign up with the link in the bio. I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your week, and I'll see you next week. If you are still here, you're either a rebel with a cause or you chose pile number 2, Sukhmani. Sukhmani has a very like sweet energy, but not necessarily like always soft. It is this peaceful quality, like sometimes it can feel very bright in contrast, like it's balancing. And so the peace comes from the kind of like balance. And so if something intense is happening, something intense might happen to balance that out. Okay. So you chose Sukhmani. This is your soul card. This is your uncertain oracle card. Action. And the Mystic of Vials is your numinous tarot card. So when I see this card, it feels like no one else besides Sukhmani could have perfectly picked this. This feels so peaceful in a way, this kind of like embrace and gathering that looks like the earth to me. And it has this kind of like a movement around it, this kind of like swirling energy. And a couple words. One word that came to mind is ancestral veneration. Is this kind of like uplifting and elevation of ancestral healing that is happening right now. Also like collective strength and collective peace building. This feels like a very like a quality of togetherness that is in favor of peacefulness. Having said that, there can just be the quality of connectedness, but I'm seeing the action card. And the action card and this card feel so mirrored for some way. For some reason, there's this like sense of connection. There's this or like this circle or this planet, and there's this kind of like action is needed now. Like it feels like there's some sort of insistence. And the Mystic of Vials in other decks is the King of Cups, and this mystic is holding a storm in a bottle. And they are, the way that it's illustrated, it looks like they have been through a lot, and they have they look like they're blind in one eye. Of course, you can't always tell if someone is blind, but that feels like some of the symbolism in this card, as well as there's like a shell hanging from one ear. So what I'm really seeing here is like holding the intensity of this storm in this hand within that, and being able to like clearly see forward, even in like a seeing the future type of way, or a seeing the context of the future and the past or the ancestral lineage, and really like holding with like a very contained leadership this kind of emotional intensity and potency, and knowing like the very real power that you wield. This feels like a card that is about emotional leadership and emotional action and taking steps to be in protective relationship with your community, to stay interconnected. And to take actions that acknowledge you know your own power. Like, this is someone who is not like, is holding with great reverence the power that they hold. They're not like waving it around. The King of Cups is this elevated, it is fire and water elementally. So it is holding the potent power of these extremes and able to move forward with that, with a lot of intensity if necessary. And so this feels like, if you are someone who is an organizer, if you're someone who is healing your ancestral lines, this feels like a clear, like, go forth with power, with the ability to take up space, with the ability to be in emotional leadership and take on leadership roles. This isn't to say, like, if you're not in that position, you should steamroll. Like, that also could be holding a lot of privilege and knowing that you are moving forward. How would I say that? This could be being in a position of a lot of privilege and holding that very gently to be able to move forward in a way that affects change in a very balanced and integritous way. The King of Cups is very integritous. The Mystic of Vials is empowered, is aligned with past, present, and future selves, with future and past generations, with this kind of collective quality of being one with nature. And the action orientation does feel like a little bit of like a call to action, so to speak, from the heart. And so this really, let's see if Sukhmani, this really feels very relevant for the moment. So I felt, as I was checking in with Sukhmani, almost as if someone put their hand here and put their hand here, like on my chest and on my head. And there was this clear sense of keeping your mind and your heart really connected, really allowing there to be a through line from your mind to your heart, or from your heart to your mind, so that your actions are going to be in alignment together, that you're not acting out of one or the other, but that you're allowing these to be united. That is what Sukhmani feels like she's saying will be what brings peace, is to keep the heart and the mind aligned and working in union together. Sukhmani is also saying, come one, come all. That's what I'm hearing. Come one, come all. And so this also feels like a very inclusive call to action. It feels like, if you are someone watching this video right now saying, well, I must have picked the wrong pile because I don't have anything to offer, the revolution towards peace, that is incorrect, that any revolution worth moving forward with is going to be one that is inclusive to all beings. And so there is space for you. You are part of the peaceful world that is being called into existence right now, and you are tasked with the challenge of believing that and feeling that and knowing that to be true. Sukhmani has a really gentle, kind of like angelic almost presence, very earthy and angelic realm together. And it does feel like this, like that, but also kind of like this embrace, like wrapping a mantle. And so there is this quality of like, you are going to be protected in your actions, in your rightful, peaceful oriented actions. You will be protected. You'll be connected. I also get the sense, like, call upon your ancestors. If you are feeling disoriented, if you are working on that, allow them to be with you and to support you in moving forward. Okay, I think that is Sukhmani and my message for you today. If you would like to do more tarot or receive some energy work tomorrow, Monday, the 27th, in honor of the full moon or the new moon in Cancer, I will be doing a Reiki, a crystalline activation, and a collective tarot reading. You can purchase a spot. It is Zoom, so you don't even have to be there live. It's sent long distance. You will get a link to the replay. It's $12.34. It is my best, like, kind of most accessible offering. It packs a punch for what it is. It's called Mother Medicine. I announced that before the Roe v. Wade announcement, but it feels so appropriate, and I think there's going to be some really magical healing. So I would love to see you there. Okay. If not, have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you next week. If you are still here, I'm guessing you're in group 3. Group 3, you chose Una. Una has this like quality. Una means one in Spanish. When she gave me that word, I was like, oh, it's perfect. You can kind of like even see, sometimes they choose their skulls really for, I mean, always I think they choose their skulls for a reason. Both the material, which Himalayan quartz is very like high vibrational. It's kind of like zingy and intense. One of those ones that even if people are like, no, I don't really feel crystals, they're like, ooh, this one feels interesting. And has a couple rainbows, but also has this kind of like divide, this like line across the eyes that you can almost see. You can definitely see in person, but it's a little harder to see on the camera. But this kind of like evening the field and focusing the mind quality. And she really does help with that. Sometimes if I'm feeling really scattered, she'll help me in kind of gathering and supporting me in my thoughts. So I'm really curious to see what her share is. Okay. So the soul card is this. Your tarot card is the Seven of Vials. And the Uncertain Oracle card is Hope. Something that I really notice from this is that this being's arms are like these wings. And this being is like leaning into that. And their eyes are open. They're kind of like reaching up. And it really feels like very intimate. The word that comes to mind is like seeing into the magic of your own soul, but also like witnessing like spiritual supports, or even like parts of self from the past. This feels like a little edgy, but I'm feeling kind of guided to say it, so I'm just going to say it. Sometimes we make decisions and they result in feeling like a possibility or a being that could have been with us is not. And I imagine there's going to be people that are experiencing and grieving that, people who have had an abortion in the past or a miscarriage or have engaged or have even lost a child in some way. There's just this quality of like a being actually being there with you to support or like reflecting into that and how intimate that experience is. If you don't resonate with that, that's totally fine. I also feel other things, but for some reason, if that resonates for you, the message that I'm getting quite clearly is that these memories, it's important to like find the splash of hope in that, and that at any given moment we can see many different potential futures, and that we get to choose every step of the way. We get to choose which direction we are going to go in, and that there is really a lot of magic in taking that moment to see what it is that you desire and to trust that there's wisdom in that. That's not wrong to want things. If losing someone doesn't resonate, the other image that I see of this is split parts of self, right? Is we are looking at almost the selves from different timelines or the selves from what could have been. And I still very much feel this kind of like wishful thinking quality of like standing outside the apothecary window, looking in and like having this moment of like, ooh, is it this or is it that? Or like, do they have the thing that I want? Or do I know what I like? How am I going to decide? And that hope can feel really dangerous if we are terrified of being disappointed. And the reality is that disappointment may have felt dangerous in the past. It may be associated or tied up with shame, but disappointment is not a bad thing. Disappointment is not a dangerous thing. It is a result of hoping or wanting and knowing that things are on track in a way that we don't necessarily understand, and that sometimes things shift and are transformed and click into place, and we have to be willing to grieve and let go of what was so that we can step into what will be and what is. And so if we go in and we think, oh, I really, really want that purple bottle, that's the one that is the most delicious, but for some reason that one's not for us, that one's out of stock, I don't know, right? But instead, they have this moon, or they have one that's not even listed in the window, that's not even up there, that we end up getting that changes our life or becomes our new favorite flavor of something. Like that is what is waiting around the corner. So hoping is a renewable resource. Hope is something that is a renewable resource that we reseed, we tend to, and we plant and harvest within ourselves, our internal ecosystem. And we also do that in our collective. We do that with the people around us. And this is very, very, very critical that we're doing this right now. That we are gathering our resources and knowing that what we attend to, what we pay attention to, what we scroll through on our Instagram feeds, what we consume in the news, we are giving attention to that. Like this is really from Una, like we give attention to that, and that attention is power. Our hope, our intention, are components of manifestation, and intention is powerful. If you do not believe this, I really encourage you to turn inwards and think about what happens when you commit and put your full attention on something. Does energy go there? If you even pay attention to someone in your body, if you breathe somewhere, do you feel like you can breathe into there? Because they show that you can actually like oxygenate an area better by paying attention to it. I don't know the exact study. There's something like that. But, there are all sorts of things that science starts revealing that many mystical traditions, many metaphysical traditions have actually known and been aware of. The fact that the body is renewing itself all of the time. This is something that was an awareness in ancient Chinese medicine and other forms of medical systems. There is an awareness of this energetic system. And so your attention, what you place your energy on in an intentional way, is so, so powerful. And so allow hope to be one of those things. Allow hope to have the kind of wings that allow you to feel uplifted, that allow you to connect with that self from other timelines and know that they are all accessible, right? There's a timeline in which you get every single one of these. And if you tap into those, then you can experience that. And you can. So Una's showing me a memory of me like agonizing over a menu and feeling like I couldn't order the same thing because I had ordered that last time, but I know that's the thing I'm going to like best. And like this decision-making process feeling agonizing. And then eventually just feeling like I just have to choose something because I need to be out of this. And so also like the message from that, what was the point of me sharing that, Una? Okay. So also being able to tolerate the discomfort of hope, of being in uncertainty and hoping and being spacious in that, is a process of self-trust. Yeah, is a process of self-trust. And that feels very much like this is a self-trusting relationship card. Trusting yourself to know what's best for you. What practices help you feel self-trust? How can you do a trust fall into your own arms? And if you don't feel that way, how can you actively and effortfully build that sense of hope? Be around other people who demonstrate that. Consume things that allow you to feel that. Make decisions that move you forward with hopefulness in mind. Do not bank on the worst thing. That will only get you the least worst option, not the best option. Okay. I think that is your message for today. Thank you so much. If you would like to connect more, I have an event happening tomorrow. It is on the 27th. It is for the new moon in Cancer. It's called Mother Medicine. We're going to be doing Reiki. We're going to be doing crystalline DNA activation. We're going to be doing a collective tarot reading in real time. You are welcome to come even if you cannot be there for the live. It is tomorrow at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. But if you cannot be there for the live, you still get the energy work remotely. I put you on my altar and you're there. Your name is there. I read your name and you will get sent the energy work. And then you'll get a link to the replay and you'll be able to watch the tarot and sit for the meditation and the activation in that way. So if you'd like to sign up, the link is going to be in my bio. And if not, I look forward to seeing you next week or maybe before then if I have the energy. Thank you as always for watching. I send out my love to each and every one of you. Thanks so much. Bye.